Looks so pretty. Okay, so what I recorded it. So I gotta record this. So if I'm jumping around and it doesn't make sense, because some of the clips did record properly and then some of them didn't. So you're gonna see me in a bonnet and then you're gonna see me in another outfit. So don't get discouraged. And plus I don't be posting real time anyway, so it doesn't matter. So yeah, now we at this point where I move out, right? And I got my own place. I got a 2-bedroom, 1-bath for $600. It was not in a bad area, but it was not in a good area either. And I had purposely stopped going to church for a little bit, or if I knew like I was gonna go back to my best friend's house, I would just that's when I would go to church. But I didn't go to her house as often either, because for a couple of weeks, because when I went to the apartment for the last time and he was there, I was like, oh, he's still in Tampa. And I knew he was the type of person that would basically stalk me to see where I'm at. Plus I know he was real mad because when I left, I cut off the light. So I knew when I seen him in there sleeping that there was no light. So he was in there with no light, no nothing. He still was going to school. So I'm not going to even hold you. I'm not going to even lie but I was so depressed. Like, I was very, very upset with myself. And then, all I could think about was like how my kids are not gonna grow up without a father, because I already knew he wasn't gonna be there, because he's such a selfish person. It always been about him. But then I went into the fact of blaming myself. Like, maybe if I was prettier, maybe if I was smaller, maybe if I was lighter, maybe if I just went through all that, putting myself down, of why he was treating me the way he was treating me. And then having to deal with all this stuff in a whole new city, in a whole new place by myself. So with him, I also felt embarrassed too, because like, these people really don't know me, and then you come up here and make me look like a fool, So when all of this is going on, there's one week where there was a day, I think it was like the second week that I was in my house. Mind you, when I go to sleep, I sleep with the TV on. And I was a horror movie fanatic, like, and I would love to watch scary movies at nighttime, because I felt like watching them in the daytime, it wasn't as scary. And scary movies to me too, it's always, you never know where it's gonna go. So this one night, my son is sleeping right next to me, and I'm watching the TV, but I'm starting to doze off. So mind you, the illumination from the TV was starting to get dim. And in my head, I'm thinking, you know how when you're about to fall asleep, everything starts to get dark. But it was like the way the light in the room was dimming, it was kind of weird to me. So I remember looking up. Now, I'm thinking I'm dreaming too. So I look up, and there's like this black cloud starting to form by the TV. So I'm like, I'm watching the scary movie. Maybe that's just, I know when I lucid dream. So I'm like, oh, maybe it's just, me going into my dream, and I'm watching something scary. So it's probably affecting my dream. So when my eyes completely close, I feel a tug which jerks me up from my sleep. So I'm looking around, because I'm like, okay, my son's still sleeping. What was that? But then I'm really seeing the cloud getting bigger and bigger over my TV, which is making the room really dark. But I go back thinking like, okay, I'm sleeping or whatever. Now, mind you, I get jerked 2 more times. I'm like, the hell? So the last time I get jerked, that third time I get jerked, I literally get pulled. I didn't get jerked. I got pulled from my bed, like all the way to the end. And when I jumped up screaming, mind you, as I jumped up screaming out of the cloud, there was metallic hands going back into the cloud. Man, when I tell you I was scared, I was freaking out. And I knew I wasn't sleeping at this point. I knew I wasn't dreaming. So, and mind you, I know for a simple fact, he got sisters that do voodoo. Like, literally do that stuff. So, the next day, I tell my best friend about what goes on or whatever. She's like, man, you got to go to church. You got to go and tell the pastors. So I tell the pastors exactly. It's probably more detailed when I told them back then, because this is like almost 15, 16 years ago this happened. So the pastor wife, the first lady, she was like, you know, that's your mind playing tricks on you. You're in a new place. You're in a new city. You know, you've been through all this drama with him, and it was all a dream. It's probably affecting how you're feeling right now. And it's just because you was surrounded by darkness for so long. It's probably because that she was trying to make it seem like it was the metallic hands were trying to pull me back to the darkness when I came out of that relationship. So my mind's trying to tell me like I need to go back to the darkness. But that's how she explained it to me, something like that. So she was like, but I was like, can you come bless the house just in case? They was like, yeah, they'll come bless the house. Mind you, weeks go by. Weeks go by before they even come. Week go by. I asked them the first time, and they was like, yeah. So weeks go by, and nobody says anything to me. Nobody schedules nothing to me. So I asked them like after a couple of weeks, because it still felt like there was a presence in my house. So I'm getting freaked out. Like, I'm already pregnant. Like, by this time, I'm already like 5-6 months pregnant. And I already can't sleep at night. And after that happened, I really couldn't sleep. So when I asked them again, they was like, they'll let me know. So I'm the type of person, if I ask you something once and I have to come back and ask you a second time, I'm not asking you a third time. I'm not, because if I ask you to do something and you do, because to me, having to do it the third time, meaning I'm begging, and I'm not begging you. So, mind you, I asked my best friend, and at that, like I said, my best friend and her family, except the youngest one, they're all very, very talented, very talented. And when they were in the church real heavy, the 2 strong prayer warriors was the oldest, which was my best friend, and then the third oldest. So I had asked them to come and bless the house. So they came, blessed the house. Mind you, when they came, it was like they were praying, but they started to get more intense. You could feel like whatever they trying to get out of my house, oh, that thing was fighting, because they kept they got louder and louder with their prayers. So then after that, my house was pretty quiet. So then a couple of weeks, the pastors come and they was like, okay, we got this day. I was like, oh, it was already done. My best friend and her sister already did it. They were like, what? I'm like, yeah, they already did it already.